Alpha Fam, Coach Jam here with another market update. Before we begin, I do want to say that nothing in these videos is financial advice. Everything's for educational purposes only. It's just my own analysis on the market. Also, if you're new to the Alpha Syndicate channel, if you could please give us a like, comment, and a subscribe, we really do appreciate the support. So let's get into the market, guys. So we've had a big push last night, all right? And the reason why, I think, is because of this. Apparently, the New York Times has reported that Iran is attempting to make a secret deal trying to end the war. Had a feeling that this would occur because this is just kind of the Trump playbook at this point. Do something very drastic over the weekend, allow time for the markets to kind of get a chance to react. This is why crypto always dumps and pumps first. And then once that happens, the following week, we're going to start seeing these different announcements. And then, again, guys, the goal is to get the end of the war. And I promise you, remember I said this, when they announce the conflict is over, expect a massive green candle to the upside. And that's all it takes is one massive green candle, and then you will have everybody abandoning the bear market. And it's kind of crazy because I'm even seeing now some of the most bearish KOLs that are making announcements that they're buying here because they expect at least a relief rally back up to some of these higher levels. So with that being said, guys, you can see on the 4-hour how much we've actually moved up. Pretty aggressive overnight. We finally have, and this is very important, guys. You can see this area right here. All right, this area has been hell of resistance. We need to break above this level, guys. We need to break above it, and then we obviously on the daily we want to come back up, and this is an area that you guys need to be watching for. We need to see the reaction at the 50-day EMA on the daily, which is about the $75,000 zone. All right, guys, this is a very key area that we need to be looking out for because this is an area that is probably going to be very. It's not only going to be resistance, but it's also going to be psychological resistance. Those even and hold numbers, guys, are always psychological barriers for us to reclaim. If we can reclaim this level, then there is a good chance that we probably will short squeeze probably up into the 80, 85, and then from there we need to see, and reassess where the market is at that point. All right, guys, this right here looks pretty good to me. I'll be honest with you. We're making higher highs, higher lows. This is as far as a structure is concerned. This looks pretty good. You can see higher highs, higher lows, all the way starting from even way back over here, holding above the 50 as as support. As after we flipped it from being resistance, because you can see how it was resistance all over here. We just couldn't break above it. And then when we did get above it right here, we pushed back down. This was the war dump. And then this is what we've had since then. All right, guys. Again, looks really good. All right. Looking at futures right now, you can see what's happened with them overnight. They've both have had pretty good days. And also overnight, you can see this is NASDAQ. NASDAQ's almost 0.83%. S&P futures isn't up significantly, but it is definitely up a little bit. I think this is going to be a kind of a idea of where the U.S. market goes when it opens up. And I always say this, guys, it's never 100%, but it is a good barometer to use to watch the futures market to give you an idea of the direction for the U.S. market. And again, this doesn't always happen. I've had times where the futures market have surged overnight for the U.S. market to open and just turbo dump. All right. But typically, more times than not, you will typically see a continuation of the U.S. stock market following behind with the futures. And they're futures. Why do they think they're called futures? Because people they're buying them and basing price off of future movements on these asset classes, guys. You have to understand this. So looking at this, guys, one thing I have seen that was a little concerning is Bitcoin dominance has absolutely gone surging again. This isn't unusual because of how much Bitcoin has moved. Like Bitcoin's up 4.6%. And like Solana's only up 3.29%, 3.3%. So it is super normal to see when you have Bitcoin surging this way. The big one though is the weekly for me. I do not want to see us break above this 50 on the weekly for Bitcoin dominance, guys. All right, I just don't want to see it because again, alts have already been obliterated, guys. We don't want to and this has been one of the reasons I think alts have continued to hold and not continued obviously they've been dumping, but as aggressively as a move down as Bitcoin does when there's bad days. And the reason why is because they've already been all the leverage in most alts have already been wiped out. And then if you wanted to panic sell, you've had months and months and months to have plenty of opportunity to do it. So I think people know that, they understand it, and if you're holding an alt now, it's because you actually believe in the project and you're holding it more probably more likely than probably a long-term hold for you, and it's not something you're just doing a quick trade for. Obviously, there's people that are going to be doing quick trades on some of these alts with some of these outperformances, but most people that if you're holding up a alt, there's probably a reason why it, and you're probably holding it long-term. All right, guys? So with that being said, obviously we want to come take a look at a couple of other things. One big thing that I'm noticing right now is I want to look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. This is the weekly. You can see how this has come all the way back down to this zone. And then you can see on the daily, it made this move up, and it's like almost rejected at the 50, and it's come back down, and it's come into a major area of support. I think we're going to start seeing Ethereum really take off, because you can see Ethereum right here, guys, is looking pretty good right now. All right. And again, we're still waiting for the U.S. market to open. I'm very interested to see how today goes. I was actually surprised to wake up and see $71,000 Bitcoin. I was like, oh, did something happen? Did somebody else was like there was some other development? And that's when I started digging and I seen the report from the New York Times. And again, guys, I don't think we're out of the woodworks yet. And I've said this several times over the last few weeks. I do think we're in a massive accumulation range. I think we're going to be in it for a little while. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be times of outperformance during this. And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be opportunities to be able to make money in this environment, guys. And again, the best R&R is building positions during the bear market, preparing for the next bull run, guys. And if everything is on like the 4-year cycle, people think the bull market ends this year. We start the next bull run this year, all right? Bear markets only typically last a year. Think about Q4. Do you want to be prepared for Q4? I know I want to be prepared for Q4 because that's what I'm kind of laying my chips on the table for is I'm preparing for Q4 because I think this is when we're going to see what we'd like, and I'll show you an example of what it looked like last time. When we broke out of the bear market, you can see down here, and this was out in Q4. You can see Q4 came down and then started to move up, all right, breaking out of Q4 going into Q1. You want to be building positions all down in this range, preparing for this next move that's going to occur. And there is going to be another move like that, guys. Bitcoin is not dead. It's not dying. It's not going anywhere. It's just had a very bad year, and you're supposed to be buying when everybody is fearful. All you have to do is take your emotions out and just listen to some of the greats. I mean, why do you think Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful? There's reasons he says this stuff, guys, all right? And if, again, this is the first time you've ever found any of my content, my name is Coach JM. I've been a digital asset investor going on 5 years. I'm also the founder of Alpha Syndicate, and I also host the Crypto Talk workshops inside of Capital Club. And if you want to learn how we apply macro, fundamentals, technical analysis, and how we combine it all together, and if you want a place to be able to network with other entrepreneurs, traders, a place to get coached and mentored, click the link below, guys. We'll see you inside.